The Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Worship Wednesday.
Worship Wednesday.
It wouldn't be right if I didn't hit the button, man. We hope you're having an amazing middle of your week and that this episode can be just a little bump of encouragement to help you get to Friday. We know the weekend's coming, but it's the middle of the week, so we need a little pick-me-up. We hope this is that for you. If you were following us and checked out last week, and if you have followed Worship Wednesday, you're probably wondering what is happening right now. Where is Noah? Why is Zack doing this all by himself and being uncomfortable on camera? Here's why. We had an amazing conversation with a good friend of mine, Jared Williamson. He's a worship leader and has been a worship leader at Grove City Church of the Nazarene for a long time. Good friend of mine. I got to work with him for many years, and he's been sharing his story and his faith journey and where God has taken him through the years. And we talked so much and we had so much fun that for the first time we actually had to split a conversation into two parts. And so you're probably on the edge of your seat from last week, ready to hear the rest of this story. So buckle up as we hear the rest of this conversation with our good friend, Jared Williamson.
I went away to college. We kind of all went our separate ways. Mm-hmm. And then in college, same thing. I went for, I actually got my call to ministry while we were doing a winter retreat. We were the band, like the worship band for a winter retreat. Mm-hmm. And I was 16 and I was going to be a vet. Like that was, I don't know. I just have a love for animals. That's where I was going. But God just showed me, he was like, boom, like I've got a plan for you.
Yep.
And I was like, cool, tell me what it is.
Right.
And I didn't know what it was, but I think part of it was just the fact that when he spoke to me, I was in youth ministry or in a great youth ministry. And so he kind of opened up that door and he was like,
here's your place to serve.
Go this path.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I did because while doing that, I further defined like where my focuses were, and it was in the creative arts, I guess.
Yeah.
So between music, photo, video, I really just dug into that. And in college, I was doing music and worship for our middle school, our high school, and college age. But it all started with like a different church, and I was just trying to help out. And I'm like, I need to learn to play guitar because I didn't play guitar. I didn't play anything. I played piano. Like I took piano lessons for forever when I was a kid. That doesn't really translate.
Right.
You're not going to play Fior Elise for a worship session, and you can't take it around anywhere. And I didn't have like even a big keyboard or anything. So I'm like, oh, man, I got to learn to play guitar. So, you're sitting around with your roommates, and I was surrounded with awesome musicians. So as I learned how to do that, that opened up the freedom to do it. And I was playing and leading for those three different areas, and that's where it became next level. And I distinctly remember, because I was doing it so much at the time, you get in the practice of like when you're playing, you kind of just forget that you're with anybody else. And that's where the worship was like, that's the only time I've written songs in an actual worship service, like spontaneous. And it's like your fingers are just playing chords and you're just singing. You're literally praying your song to God.
You're praying a song out loud. Yep.
Yeah. And
which is where some of the best worship music comes from, dude.
Yeah. And I think this is off topic, but on topic of worship, that is something that I feel like God has been calling me to recently, is just making space for that time. Right. And that's what I was doing then. I was committing all that time to be in, not just in the presence, but be in the presence with my instrument. Yeah. With my voice, with my heart, and just focused in on that and just cleared out all the noise, which in college you think you don't have any time. And I was like, I had all the time in the world.
Right. Yeah. I look back on that season where I thought I was busy and I'm like, Zack, you're an idiot. Yeah. You don't know busy yet.
Yeah, but it was, that was an amazing time. And then, I wasn't on staff. I got like a stipend to cover gas, which in college that was plenty. Right. And then moved back up to Ohio. I did some other jobs, worked for the school, moved to Ohio, back up here. And I didn't go to Grove City right away. Went to a bunch of different churches. And I think it was just like timing in my life. And then I got picked back up by I was at some friends that I knew from the church, just hanging out at their house, met Zack Daniels, and he was doing this third service thing,
right,
which was with Rob, and I'm like, oh, I know all these people, and so he's like, why don't you just come start playing? And I was like, okay,
yeah,
and it was volunteer, and then it was like he was going away for like a holiday, like Thanksgiving or something, and I filled in for him while he was gone leading, because I hadn't been leading for a while, and I felt that void.
Yeah.
And then he went on to another church, and I ended up getting hired on part-time on staff, and then I was helping with youth, and that was almost 15 years. Actually, that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
Fast forward a lot. Yeah. So I was on part-time, then I was on full-time, then I was part-time again, and then I was full-time again, and they're all well, and it was just like the seasons of the church, you know. So there were a lot of changes going on, but throughout those changes, there were actually times, I think it was just the unsettledness of like the whole atmosphere, not from a particular person or any reason. There was just a lot going on, and I was like, I want to get out of here. And I mean, to the point where I was like having interviews with people, and after the interviews, like I would have these great conversations, and I would just be like, I can't leave. Like I just couldn't. Like God had not released me from that.
Right.
And then eventually it just kept developing and kept developing me. And I think it was perfect timing for him, because as we went through these different changes, because the atmosphere of worship at Grove City was, it wasn't traditional, but it had a certain style, had a vibe.
Yeah.
From when Travis was there, and they had kind of built the identity of that ministry around that.
Right.
And so with any type of change, there's going to be
always comes fallout.
Yeah.
Always
there's fallout.
stuff.
There's criticism. And it's just because people, I don't fault them for it, because people like to be in the familiar and the comfortable.
Yep.
And I realized that about myself, though, is I'm familiar and comfortable in pretty much any type of music, worship setting, you know. I find the value and I see the value because I'm looking for it. You know, as funny as it sounds, like I've been in a Gaither concert, you know, and
Noah's favorite band, by the way.
It is my favorite.
it is, you know, but like when you're there though, like if your heart's in the right place and you're seeking after,
You can worship to it.
oh yeah, you can. And that's where I'm like, man, and especially once you get to know people, I went to school down in Cleveland, Tennessee, which proximity to Nashville is pretty close. So as you're doing that and as you're involved, I was in a choir there, and so that's a different type of ministry as well. But as you get to know these people in these positions, whether it's your style of music or not, and you actually hear their hearts, that's when it opened up. I'm like, oh, okay, that's just a tool. That's just a medium. The same way someone might paint, or someone might do spoken word, or whatever they want to do, or video, photography, like all of these are acts of worship. And so it kind of opened up my eyes to the fact that we're supposed to be living lives of worship.
Yes.
Worship is not a thing on Sunday morning. It's not a thing in my car. I mean, the Bible says to do everything as if you're doing it unto the Lord.
Right.
And so I'd have to look at it for the actual quote, but I don't even know if it says unto the Lord, like as if unto the Lord. But does it say unto the Lord? Like just do it unto the Lord?
That's a good question. I have to look that up.
Can you look that up on your nifty laptop?
I can.
I'm curious because like, I mean, whether it says as if unto the Lord, or if it says just do it unto the Lord, that's the way that I think we're supposed to live. Like do it for God.
That's honestly like the number one topic that we talk about on this podcast.
Okay.
And like how it's, you know, when we even like brought up the idea of doing a Worship Wednesday podcast where we talk about worship ministry, you know, every Wednesday, you know, the more we got into it, it's like this is not just a music podcast. It actually is the opposite of music podcast, where it's like worship is so much more than the songs we sing on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, that's probably the smallest piece of it. And like stuff we tell our team all the time is like, especially for people leading and like doing the actual music portion of worship, it's like, we can't call that worship and be living out of the filling that comes with leading worship, because the reality is that's the outpouring of it.
Correct.
So like the worship portion for us as individuals, like that happens outside of the platform.
Yeah.
And needs to happen outside of the platform, because
to.
if you're only getting up and leading worship and that's your worship time, you're pouring an empty cup.
Yeah.
And it has to be coming out of an overflow of what happens through the week.
Well,
and so
I think you can get in a really dangerous place if you have talents.
Yes.
Because you can go into a Sunday and you can have the most awesome set, the greatest musicians, but if the Spirit's not there,
right.
if you're not worshiping out of that overflow, if you haven't let the song, this is something I've been doing a lot lately, is I make a playlist. Sometimes I remember to send it to the whole team.
Right.
Sometimes I don't. But I'll make a playlist of those songs. And my prayer is literally to let these songs minister to me personally, as I'm practicing, as I'm learning them, as I'm digesting them. Like I'm reading, I'll just sit there and read through the lyrics, like the old school, like CD jacket cover,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
like, because that is where, that's just where you allow it to minister to you.
Yep.
And then God, being who he is, he speaks, he'll bring a verse to mind, or he'll bring a situation where you get to talk to somebody, and he ties all that in, and then you're able to go into the next phase, and you're like, oh man, I have so much about this. Like, there's no way I can keep it all in on Sunday morning.
Right.
And so then you are working out of that overflow.
Yep.
And I think that's where it's turned, like, that idea of doing your life as worship, living your life as worship, to a place for that. But at the same time, and let me know what you guys think, but because like I'll text with Zack O'Day, and even in worshiping out of overflow, it's still one of the most life-giving parts of my week.
Yep.
And I think that is what the Bible's talking about with, like, to not forsake the gathering of the believers, because I know there's a lot of people that can't physically get somewhere, or they want to watch online, or schedule wise they can't, with work or whatever. Yeah. But there's just something special about being there, and being surrounded by people, and hearing other voices, and then just you don't go to battle online, right? Right. Like, you're not going to go against, it's an actual, like, presence with other people. And that's where it is an amazing time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think if you've allowed those songs to minister to you throughout, then you're able to take it to that next level, and you're able to hear God more in those moments. Because you're not being filled. Like, you're already, and you're not learning anything with the song. You're so familiar with it, where I know you guys have done this, but like, I'll be singing the song and I'll be praying something different, like different words, or I'll be thinking about something different, and I'll be listening to God, and I'm like, okay, I know I need to go here next. Like, not even in that song, but like this is, I have to say this. Right. Or I have to, do whatever, X, Y, or Z. And like that, there was an instance, we were at that worship retreat, and, I picked some songs and just felt like that was going to be on my heart. And I was singing through the songs, and out of habit, like the lyrics were right there for me. But it was it
worthy of it all?
Yeah, it was worthy of it all. I was like, I couldn't remember the title. I'm not a title person.
We literally talked about this on last week's podcast.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
See,
Yep.
I didn't know.
Yep.
But like, I was singing the songs, and we had changed the bridge, and to like, let our praise arise instead of incense arise. And it was just me playing, and and I just stopped. And you're with like all these other worship leaders and stuff, and I'm like, I just felt conviction about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have. I know man wrote those words, but they were inspired by God, and we sometimes water down the worship with when we change stuff,
right?
Instead of taking the initiative to teach people, because that's what worship is. That's one of the purposes of it is to teach, and so as we're able to learn about God and how we're supposed to live out those lives of worship, I think that is something that is awesome. So, anyway,
well, that verse in Colossians is 3:23 through 24. It says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving."
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it literally says anything you're doing. And I do love in that translation where it says work, because it's like we often forget that, like, when we're working, we're doing our 9 to 5, we're off doing our thing. Like, even as pastors, like, I feel that it's like I just do the stuff of church. And even as a pastor, there are times where I'm just doing it and not even thinking about the spiritual implication of it. I'm just like, I know I got to put a set together.
Yeah.
You know, I know I have to go fix the drum cage when we get off this podcast, you know? And it's like, there's oftentimes we could fall into that of like, I'm just doing the thing. But it's like, no, I get to fix a drum cage, and I get to do it in a way that honors the Lord. I get to fix it so that when our drummers come in, they are not distracted with all the junk in the cage, that they can worship the Lord to the best of their ability. You know, and so when, even with the language of that, working towards the Lord in anything that you do, I think it's just vital. We have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty evident when you don't.
Oh, very much so.
Right.
Well, that's when I think negativity like creeps in.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to, if you're constantly reminding yourself of, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Am I doing this to please my boss? Am I doing this to please my wife, my kids?
Right.
Just perception of people in general.
Yeah.
No. You know, this was actually a conversation the other day, probably a couple weeks ago. We're just cleaning. It was like spring cleaning outside, like speaking of landscaping stuff. But we're, just cleaning out beds and cleaning out stuff. And Asher is out there as grumpy as could be because he wants to be inside playing video games.
Yep.
And we're out there, and I was just explaining to him because he's like, I don't want him to do this. And as he's doing it though, and I was like, first off, we have this amazing piece of land with these amazing views. This is a blessing.
Yeah.
But it does take work. I was like, you can blame Adam and Eve for that. Like that's part of the curse is that, we're going to have to
like work the land. It's going to suck.
Yeah. Thank God for weeds, apparently.
Right.
But as we're doing it, I was like, what we're doing right now is, and I was talking about that verse. I was like, we're doing this for God. I was like, this isn't our land. We don't own it. To like Pocahontas it.
Right. Right.
We don't own it. Like, we're stewards of this property.
Yeah.
If we move and we have another property, another house, another whatever, we're just stewards of everything here.
Right.
Our gifts, our talents, our property, our jobs, like our families, our relationships, like that's all we can be.
Yep.
And when you start taking on that ownership, that's when it feels like a chore, which sounds, even at Grove City, like we would talk about, we don't have members, we have owners.
Right.
And I was like, I almost want to be like, we have stewards.
Right.
Right. Because we don't own that building. We don't own the volunteer positions. We don't own any of this stuff.
Yeah.
We're there, and it changes your mindset because instead of a to-do list, it's like a get-to-do list.
Yeah. Our good old buddy Brian Davis,
man. Dude, I just came off of men's retreat last weekend. And it was awesome.
Oh, I bet.
Just an encounter with God.
That was one of my favorite things we ever did was that men's retreat. It was awesome.
That was my second time.
Really?
Yeah. I got to go the first time at Higher Grounds.
Yep.
The first time they ever went there. And then this is my second time.
That's awesome. It's so good.
It is. I know you're probably looking at the time.
Yeah, we probably should wrap this up, unfortunately, because I could do this all day long.
I could too.
But Jared, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Oh,
I really appreciate you being here and sharing your heart and just being honest, man. Like that's one of the reasons I wanted to call you is just because, well, we've known each other forever.
Yeah.
You know, and funny enough, like it kind of similar story of like how I came into full-time ministry. It was like, I got a call from you before we had ever met. Kristen and I were dating. And he literally get a call from this random stranger. I was like, hey, your girlfriend says you lead worship and I can't be there this Wednesday. Could you come fill in? And I was like, sure, I guess. And then did it every Wednesday since.
Yeah. I was like, now that's your job.
Right. So but I love the way that the Lord has worked that all out, and even to where we just have such a good friendship still to this day. And I just love you. I love your heart. I love the way that you love the Lord, and it inspires me to do better. And so thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. We are so glad that you joined us again, Jared. Thanks so much for being here. Hope that you guys were inspired hearing this story and just listening to what it means to worship. And hopefully you got that, with something we talk about all the time. Worship is not a song. It's not a Sunday morning thing. Like worship is a lifestyle. Again, that's why I wanted to bring you on, because you're proof of that. You're evidence of that. But yeah, if you have any questions and want to hit us up, please reach out to us at podcast@shepnaz.org. And we hope you guys have a great day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.